Hello, today I thought I'd start my lesson on comedy and argument with a quick review, and then I'll go forward to kind of tell you what is up for this week that's going to help you improve your argument analysis chops. So, quickly reviewing Marx's Power of Money in Bourgeois Society. I'm going to shoot down here past where he trots out his argument and most of the funny stuff resides. If we get right down here to this last paragraph, this is where he points out how everything he's been arguing before is in fact silly and wrong. He's arguing the opposite there. He's turning the tables on his own argument. And of course, that's a paraprostokian. And let me shoot a little further down here. Comic argument terms. You're going to use this a lot, especially this coming week. And there it is. Only Marx has one of these. And it's that final paragraph mainly. There are a few other things to keep in mind. Remember the dead grandmother exam syndrome? It's pretending to be something that it is not. It looks like a scholarly article in a professional journal, but in fact it's a spoof, and it's making fun of scholarly articles in professional journals. I'm going to bring up another one, and it's going to be satire. And all parody is satire. Any parody is satire, but not all satire is parody. But I'm going to show you another parody. And just like the dead grandmother exam syndrome, making fun of scholarly research and scholarly articles and the whole idea that grandmothers really are dying. This one has to do with whether or not a cartoon character could hire a lawyer and sue in a court of law. Absurd, of course, but sometimes parody and satire work that way. So let me bring you to a new reading for the week. We have about 3 of them this week. They're all short. Don't worry. This is a parody of a legal document from the New Yorker magazine. So here's where it starts looking like a legal document. Wile E. Coyote, the cartoon character, has hired an attorney to sue the Acme company. And this is a plain, straight argument, just like you saw in Wile E. Coyote and cartoons where you've got slapstick comedy. Here's the idea that this is a real character who could hire a lawyer. And, in comparison to the dead grandmother exam syndrome, it's a spoof. That was a fake scholarly journal argument, research paper, and this, of course, is a fake legal document. And if you have never heard of Wile E. Coyote, you were in the Federal Witness Protection Program or something, or living someplace where TV was not allowed, you only need to scroll on down to the compilation cartoon. I'll just show you a second of it. So you can find that and refresh your memory, or at least get an eye-opening introduction to something that you may not have seen before if you have not seen these cartoons before. Very popular staple of American children's programming for a long time, decades. So there that is. Also, because we're talking about these two parodies, which of course are types of satire, they get to put out a plain, straight-faced argument that is kind of ridiculous. And let me take you to a textbook you're going to start reading. And I mentioned this on the syllabus. And let me open this thing up. And there'll be a quick delay while we pass through security. But you won't be able to use that number. It just expired. And let's get it right before it expires. Okay. There it is, a rule book for arguments. This is the free version. So I hope you have read this. Read this before you buy the books. Pretty much says it all, doesn't it? This is the free copy that I mention in this, and there's a free copy of another textbook, which I'll get to later when we start using it. If you open this, I'm going to read it online, but I suggest downloading it to your phone as well. And let me take you to something Weston says just to remind you. And these pages aren't populating very quickly, but they will populate. There we go. Okay. I'm going to get into an actual chapter that you're not assigned yet, but there's an important point he makes. There you go. Even jokes can be arguments, though their reasons may seem silly. Okay, and what you're on to for this week are two short chapters that are really key to the whole rest of the course. And here they are: arguments about causes, an argument about why something happened, or what will cause something to happen, but in this case it's how something happened, and deductive arguments. And there are various types of deductive arguments. So you'll want to read through those. As you can see by the page numbers, these things aren't that long. I mean, we're talking like 5 pages on arguments about causes. Keyword right there, correlations for that. Deductive arguments, all of 8 pages. But even though they're short, take your time. Let him walk you through this. Let this wash over you a little bit. And it explains how to spot different types of arguments based on how the argument is coming to you, whether it's explaining a cause or it's using some kind of reasoning. And speaking of reasoning, you'll see Weston use terms that I'm going to mention one more time here on the comedic argument terms page again. Take a look at premise. key term. Often kind of based on common sense, what most people believe to be true, an assumption. Okay, so that's it. That's your introduction, but keep in mind that these two are straightforward arguments because they're parodies, so they can get away with just coming out with an argument. Of course, the argument's silly in the sense that it's not based on real facts, but that's part of the comedy end of it. But the arguments are real. They're straight arguments, unlike what you will see in a week or so. So hang with these, and just a quick reminder of what's on the menu of assignments. Of course, they're the reading questions due Friday, the discussion that is due Wednesday. Let's put these in order. What do you say? Like that, I think makes sense. Reading questions and discussion. And let's have the discussion come first, okay, because that's Wednesday. And of course, paragraph 1 is due Wednesday. If you haven't read the instructions yet, take your time, read through them slowly and carefully. Not a lot to do, but a few things to remember. And I give it to you step by step. And also coming up, due next week, a short argument analysis essay, 5 paragraphs. You all did 5-paragraph essays all over the place in English 101. And this is going to walk you through how to do it. It kind of works like the reading questions. So we're going to call it a quiz when actually it's an essay that you're going to type right here on Canvas. And you can do it in 24 hours if you want to, or if you're a fast typist and you really know your way around Marx's argument here, you can do it in 3 hours. I explain the 2 ways of doing that here. And just keep in mind what type of argument it is. It's deductive. And have a go at it. You've got until a week from Monday. So keep that in mind as you get through the shorter assignments for the week based on this week's assigned reading. And as always, if you have questions, jump over to the discussions page, go to the class chat room and pose a question. They'll be happy to answer, and you'll pick up some reading questions points by asking a question if no one has asked it already. Okay, have a great week.